Alright, so today we're going to go over how to use the hydraulic cylinder. Our hydraulic cylinder is bought from Enerpac. First thing you have is your pump, which holds your hydraulic fluid in here. These are your pressure gauges. These are for low pressures, and this gauge, the smaller gauge, is for high pressure gauges. This is your actual hydraulic cylinder here that the hydraulic fluid is then pumped into, and thus a pressure is caused and deflected on whatever it is you're trying to deflect. These are your clamps that you're going to hold the hydraulic cylinder to on your post here. This is called a cone that we use, a pressure cone that we use, penetration cone that we use, and we'll push this on meshes, and we'll also push it on kind of parallel bars on guardrails. So the first thing we want to do is we want to attach our hydraulic cylinder to the actual post. To do that, we want to make sure that it's centered on the post and it's in the middle. We want to make sure that the entire 0.99 inches squared is directly on the middle of the post. Once we find the spot that we like it at, we're going to put our clamps on there. We get it in a nice spot. You might have to adjust the clamps just a little bit. Once the clamps get adjusted, tighten it down, and it locks in place. Once you have it locked in place, okay, next thing we want to do is actually hook up our hydraulic fluid to the hydraulic cylinder. So we'll take off these covers that we have here. We'll tighten it down. Once we've got it all tightened down, we're in good shape. It's in the right location that we want. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to loosen the valve for the small pressure gauge. The reason that we do this is because the large pressure gauge, this one we don't use at Big D Metal. We usually use the smaller one because we don't typically run over pressures of 300 to 400 pounds per square inch. So we don't even use this pressure gauge. So there's no reason to touch this valve. This is the only one that we need to open. So we're going to go ahead and open this valve by twisting counterclockwise. And then the next thing we're going to do is ensure that this valve right here is tight, and this keeps the pressure locked in so that when we pull down on the pump manually, the pressure can flow through the tube and into the hydraulic cylinder. So now we're going to kind of show a demonstration of how that kind of works, and we'll see this post actually deflect. So we start to, you can see the post is starting to move. And you can see as we're pushing on the post, a deflection is being caused. Next thing we can see here is we have about 200 pounds per square inch that has been placed on this handrail from the hydraulic cylinder. Now to release the pressure, all we do is we counterclockwise this valve here, and then all the pressure is released. We counterclockwise all the way around to release all the pressure. And the next thing we do is we need to close the valve back up. The valve for the low pressures. So we close the valve back up. And now we can actually detach. Obviously you wouldn't want to do this until all your deflection measurements have been accumulated for your PSI measurements and your deflections. There's a little bit of hydraulic fluid spilled out right there, and occasionally you may have to refill the hydraulic fluid in the pump, and in that case look online using the P391 model number to ensure that you're getting the correct hydraulic fluid. Just show how great this works. Yeah. So the next thing we want to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this off to show you how to attach the cone here. So we'll take these rods off. So if we were to attach the cone, what we want to do is this cap right here. If we just kind of finagle it off, or kind of screw off. Sometimes it's a little tricky. There it is. So what we want to do now is we want to actually let the rod go. Okay, now what we want to do is just kind of screw this in. Once we have it screwed in, now we can put our cone on here. And there it is. And this actually will then place the deflection on a mesh or some parallel posts on a guardrail. Either one, but this is what you use to test those deflections, and that's how you attach it. And there is kind of what a mesh representation of that would look like. So that's how you use the Enerpac hydraulic cylinder. Thank you for your time.